everybody. Welcome to the Malted Minis, brought to you by the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
Brandon. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How was your trip, man?
It was tiresome. Only tiresome because there was just a lot of driving.
Yeah, So where did you end up going?
We went to Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Nice.
Not my whole family, but all of my sisters.
Just so you know, real quick, your mic looks like it might be a little loud. I could be wrong. Just pointing that out. Not a big deal.
Never happens. No, turn it down just a smidge.
There you go.
Smidge.
Perfect.
Yeah. So my family, we not my whole family, but my sisters, minus my brother and my dad. We all rented this big ass house in Hilton Head for the week, and we spent some time on the beach.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got to take a trip down. I think we went Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. My wife and I and Benjamin, we went down to Savannah, Georgia, where my wife and I got engaged. And we showed Benjamin the boat because it was parked right there. Showed him where we got engaged. He goes, you got married there? We're like, no, we got engaged there. He goes, you can't get married on a boat. I said, we didn't. We got engaged there.
You can't get married on a boat. Just a heads up, also, real quick. It does look like it's still just very loud. Just pointing it out. I'm just looking at the volume there.
Here's Aggie.
She misses me.
But yeah, so we went to Hilton Head and spent some time there. Got some candy, had some drinks along the riverwalk, and then had lunch at this place called the Pirate's House, which is like the oldest building in Savannah.
Is that where pirates live?
Apparently.
Neat.
And then so here there's a dark history to Savannah that we found out about when we got engaged there. We went on a ghost tour. On the ghost tour, we found out that, girl, you're back. Along the river, so like boats would pull up along the river, and then like there's the river. The river's really like the river walk is really low, and then the rest of the city is like elevated up. And at one of the parts, like towards the beginning of the Riverwalk, there's like these four like arches that lead into these big tunnels that are now closed off. And what's fucked up about these tunnels is what we learned on this ghost tour that we were on is that is where the people of Savannah used to take their slaves. So when the boats would come in, they would take them into these tunnels. Now, here's what's crazy. Those tunnels run like over a mile outside of the city.
Uh-huh.
And they ran into into houses of all of the very wealthy and all of this kind of stuff. So they all had like these connections to the tunnels. So slaves would come in, they would go through the tunnels. There was like a check-in point, which part of this tour, they took us to this check-in point, which is now a bar. Like, hey, you're sitting in the check-in point. I'm like, great, thanks.
That doesn't seem right.
No. And then they would get dispersed throughout the city because they did not want to see the common people, like seeing slaves being traded and all that kind of stuff. But it became very useful during like the Spanish flu and like the pandemics they had back in the day, because they would take all the sick people down into the tunnels, because those tunnels also went to the hospitals. So they would take people through and take them to the hospitals and all that kind of stuff. So there are still, from what we've been told, I met somebody once, I cannot remember who this person was that told me this, and Becca remembers too, my wife, that there is a house that lives like a mile outside the city that they still have their tunnel open. Like they have a door on it. They have it kind of boarded up, but they can open it and like they can go into the tunnel. Like the tunnel still exists.
Whoa.
Which is crazy.
Aggie agrees. Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, the tunnel still exists. But in the Pirate's House, if you go into the Pirate's House, they had a tunnel too. And they have lights on it and they have it all sealed off. And like, it's like lower down. It kind of looks like it almost looks like a well at this point. And they have a sign up there. It's like, oh, when we were doing some excavating in 1969, we uncovered this random door into a random tunnel that we don't know what it is. Maybe this is where the pirates stashed their booty. Maybe this is where their ghost lives. Blah 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 blah. This and that. And I'm like, okay, but like, obviously, you shouldn't be like, hey, this was part of the slave trade. And so it's a very real place. Like it's like jarring to that point. Like
jeez,
yeah.
That's kind of messed up. That like the actual like check-in point is now a bar. That's super.
Well,
weird.
for that tour, it wasn't a check-in point. It was they took us there, I think, afterwards, and they told. Oh no! I think it was a check-in point actually.
Yeah,
now that I think about it, I think we started there, and they're like, "Oh, this is where slaves came." And I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah, I thought it's you said that that's like where they
yeah.
checked in the slaves, and then this is woof. Well,
so Savannah,
America's history,
as beautiful as it is, it's very dark.
Yeah,
and we also did get to go. We didn't get out this time. We walked through there when we were on when we got engaged, but this time we just kind of drove around because it was like 103 degrees. We drove around and
when you were there this time.
Yeah. Well, no, we got out and walked the river and kind of that stuff. We walked to the pirate's house. Then we were leaving. We drove around the park where they filmed Forrest Gump. The whole
at least there's that.
Yeah, the whole sitting on the bench scene was all done there.
I think Aggie misses me, although you wouldn't think so from how much he didn't want to interact with me while I was there.
I think pretty much human interaction. She's like, somebody's here for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I gave about an hour a day. That's what I could do for the most part.
We appreciate the girl.
Well, for the most part, she just hung out in her little bed, and like I wasn't sure if she would like recognize it, like, hey, I'm here to feed you. So each time I would walk up to her with like the little churu first and have her smell it, and then I put it down, and then she would hop down and come and eat it, and I was like, perfect. So then I'd go and chill downstairs, and that's when Shotzi came and then hung out on my lap the entire time. It would not give me a freaking break, which is fine. That's why I was there. So she and I watched TikToks together for a while. I sent you a bunch, and then that's when I went upstairs and fed them both and did the same thing with Aggie. And I was like, look, the main course. And then she ate and I left. It was good.
Yeah, I came down here. I was cleaning the beer fridge, and then I sat down, and Shotzi just came and sat on my lap. I'm like, oh, you're just in a lovely mood.
Yeah, she missed you guys.
Yeah, so I ended up having to dump that entire keg of the Breckenridge.
R.I.P.
So I don't know what happened, but so anyways, it leaked a little. I pulled it out, and I poured an entire glass of it, and I had to use like the back end of some pliers to kind of like turn it to get the pressure up. And there's a little like nozzle in there that does that. And so I poured it, went upstairs. We had dinner. We ordered pizza. Came back down because I was going to clean. I was like, I'm going to clean the beer fridge. And I looked at the keg. I was going to pour another glass. And the whole thing just like fell in. I was like, oh.
Like it collapsed?
Like, yeah. So the whole thing was in there. I was like, yeah, this is done. And there wasn't that much left. So I took it over and I like turned it upside down. And all the beer started coming out. I was like, so whatever was in there just kind of just fell out completely. And I was like, all right, whatever.
Weird.
But this was good. I took a picture. I will send it to you after we're done recording. Actually, I can send it to you now of all of the beer that was in that fridge. I've got it sitting literally on that small black table that I have down here. And I'm going to wash the beer, which is dumb. I'm just like, some of it got wet. Like some of it was sticky with the beer. And then there was like some mold growing at the bottom. And I was like, this not good. So
time to give it a clean, baby.
Yeah. So I definitely want to get rid of some of that beer because I was looking at some of the, I'm like, oh yeah, your Rev Rosa Rose or whatever from 2020. Yeah. I don't know if I need that anymore.
Yeah, not sure if it still actually might be good.
Part of me was thinking like just throwing it all back in the fridge, putting the older ones at the top, and then us doing an episode of just cracking some of them and be like, should we throw it out? Or should we have thrown this out? Like,
hey, that's not a terrible idea. I'm down for that. That'd be a fun mystery beer episode too. Have somebody go in there, grab a beer, There we go.
We might have to do
Perfect.
that.
We
Maybe I'll
might.
do that.
Well, let's do this. Let's talk about what we're drinking. Brandon, it's a malted mini, which means you and I are drinking most likely two separate beers.
We
What are
are.
you drinking?
I am drinking Goose Island Brewing Company's Anniversary Cuvée.
I thought so. I thought that's what you're drinking. I saw the top when the bottle passed by, and I'm like, that guy's drinking that cuvee. Smart move. Smart move.
I haven't had it, so
Tell us about it, if you can.
it's
If you have that information in front of you.
it's a cuvee. Actually, so it's funny. Like I meant to pull the information up.
Well, I have it in front of me. If you want me to
Yeah, go ahead. Did you know? Like you pulled it up?
What's that?
You knew already, and you pulled it up.
Well, I saw that it was. I figured out what it was when I saw you pouring your beer.
I was trying to be sneaky about it.
Are you punching the microphone right now?
No, I'm tapping the keys, which is weird.
Oh, it sounds like tap tap. Well, the funny thing is that all it says on Untapped, it says 35th anniversary Cuvée barrel aged ale. It's a strong ale. It is at 14.7% ABV. Yeah, and it's just I don't know what it's a cuvee of. I don't know if that's actually like if it's been described.
So I found this description on Beer Advocate, and it says Chicago is home to a long list of respected craft breweries. In 1988, it was a different story. Inspired by English brewing traditions on a burgeoning American craft movement, Goose Island opened and provided many with their first taste of locally made beer. Over the next 3.5 decades, they crafted many more local brews, achieving worldwide recognition for pioneering, blah, blah, blah. For the
35th anniversary, Goose Island offers the unique cuvee of 5 different barrel-aged beers. The blend consists of 48% English-style barley wine, 28% oatmeal stout, 13% rye, 8% American imperial stout, and 3% Belgian-style quad, aged in a mixture of bourbon, rum, and cognac barrels for 18 to 36 months. I didn't know all that. Wow.
And you had this already, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like shortly after I gave it to you, right?
I have a hard time waiting. Especially with barrel-aged beers. I'm always like, what am I holding on to this for? You know?
Yeah.
Just get into it. But yeah, what do you think of it?
I think this is delicious. So I took it out of this was in my beer fridge. I took it out, let it sit for a while. Then I was like, I think it's getting too warm. So I put it in the other beer fridge for like an hour and then took it out again for like however many minutes. I feel like it's the perfect temperature. It's not too cold. It's not overly warm, but I'm getting so many different things from it.
Yeah, I remember drinking it. I think it had to. I let it sit out for about an hour before I had it when I first had it.
So it was probably about 30 minutes that it sat out. But it's like I'm getting barley wine. I'm getting chocolate. I'm getting. I think I'm getting that a little bit of Belgianiness like in there as well. It's just super well done. I mean, again, there's not many barrel aged beers. I don't think any at this point from Goose Island that I knock, because when they do those here locally, it's well thought out. They know what they're doing.
I'm hard pressed to find a barrel aged beer basically in Chicago that I don't like. I mean, there's a few that I'm like I don't prefer, but I mean, we're like the fucking home of barrel aged beers.
Yeah, so I'm getting, and I'm even picking up on some of those. I don't know about cognac as much because I'm not a cognac drinker, so I can't really tell. But I'm getting a little rum barrel in there, and I'm definitely getting bourbon. Yeah. I'm getting some oakiness, and it is a perfect cuvee, I would say. Like this is done really well.
I remember getting a lot of chocolate and barrel from it.
Yeah,
which is
chocolate is prominent. Chocolate is very prominent on this one.
Which I feel like is very common, tasting notes when it comes to barrel aged stouts, at least.
Yeah, well, but depending on the barrel aged stout, like there's some that are, if it's not a stout and it's barrel aged, then yeah, chocolate's not going to be there. But
Although I'm trying to think, was there a barley wine that I had like a taste like it? I got a little bit of a chocolate from it. I feel like there was. I don't know what it is.
I don't know, but this is good. I wish I had more. I don't think I do. Maybe I do. I don't know.
Probably. You probably have one in your fucking beer closet.
Maybe. I don't know. I think I may have only got 2 bottles of this. I think I only
Oh,
did. Yeah.
huh.
One for me, one for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because this was an Osner pickup, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Well, guess not. Looks like we did it.
That's right.
That was delicious. Yeah, it was great. How many how many blended uh how many blended beverages in one cup would you give this?
Uh,
That was so stupid. Sorry.
I'm like 4.8, 4.9.
Yeah,
It's up there,
wow.
man. Like this is,
Mm,
I mean, I'm in the camp of like most barrel aged beers at Goose can do no wrong.
yeah.
Um, and this one was done really, really well for what it is. And again, you'll have people that would drink this, being that it's a cuvee, and being like, "Oh my god, why is there all this different flavor? This is not what I was looking for." Because people see barrel aged and they're looking for a barrel aged beer,
Yeah.
like bourbon barrel aged beer.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the
Excuse
blend
me,
there
and
is
this
no,
is
you're good.
not it.
Yeah. No, it's very it was I remember it being very, very nice. And it's not like it wasn't a heavy beer either. Like it's not super heavy and thick.
Did you check into it when you had it? I don't think
I
you
don't
did because I
I don't
feel like
think
I
I
looked it
did.
up and I
Yeah,
was
I don't think
like,
I did. Yeah, I don't think I did. Um, which is it's funny because there are like random beers where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember to check that in, and then I don't. Like I had a beer today from Maplewood, their fest beer, because all the fest beers and October fest beers are out. And I took a picture of it. I'm like, good picture, Tony. Way to go. Back to grilling, and I still haven't checked it in.
yeah. So I will say, kind of going back to the whole vacation thing, I went to one brewery the entire time
Hmm.
because I made my whole family go to dinner in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Nice.
We went to a brewery. I had beers there. I did a flight. I was like, I'm going to do this right, do a flight. Um, the only beer that I really enjoyed from them was their Helles.
Ah, nice. That's good.
Um, but they didn't have that like to go, so I didn't buy anything. Um, so in traditional style, like, we went to the beach, and like as much as I wanted to go out and like, oh, there was a brewery not far from us, but it's like, my son's hanging at the beach. I was hanging with him. Um, when we left, I went to a Publix and I found some local beers that I've never tried. And I want to use those for I not a well. It's going to be a blind tasting,
Oh.
is what I want to do. Is because these are very unique beers,
Oh, okay.
and I want to see if you and whoever else, if Clark or Dan join us,
We got to
if we
bring
can,
Clark in because Clark and I are the beer masters. Like we can pick a saison like nobody.
if you guys can figure out what this is supposed to be.
Okay.
That would be great. So I got 3 beers, 3 beers. Um, yeah, and I'm looking forward to that because
Cool.
I saw these, and well, actually, I bought 2 at first, and then we were in Tennessee on our way back home, and we got to go to Buc-ee's, which is like the world's
Famous.
largest gas
Absolutely.
station, and I got some barbecue from there,
How
which,
was that?
which blew my mind. I got their turkey brisket and sausage sandwich.
Ooh.
Becca got a chicken wrap, and Benjamin got a hot dog.
Classic.
And Benjamin ate the entire hot dog, but it was awesome. And it was a fucking madhouse. Literally, it was like you were going into a concert. The amount of people that were coming in and out of that place, and the bathrooms were just obscene. Like how big they were, and then every urinal had it was like a separate stall kind of thing. So that was kind of cool.
So we should all go check out Buc-ee's.
Yeah. So and then when I was there, Becca was like, I was actually looking for a drink for the car. I was looking for like a Diet Coke or something, and she goes, "Are you looking for more beer?" I was like, "I wasn't," and I kind of looked up and I
Good thought.
saw this one, and I was like, "Holy crap! How is that a thing?" I'm buying that.
Awesome.
It was local, and I'm bringing it home. So,
All right, there it is, Clark and Dan. We have been challenged by Brandon to try and maybe that'll be Clark's, first one back in a while. We'll see if all three of us can, all four of us, obviously, but the three of us can figure out what these mystery beers are. Sounds like we got 2 mystery beer episodes lined up. That's great.
yeah. So that being
That's
said,
great.
Tony, what are you drinking right now?
Oh, well, hey, thanks, man. Just a side note, while you were gone, I also, Laura and I, we dipped out to Kalamazoo for an overnight trip to go see the Avett Brothers. So that was nice. We were going to stop at River St. Joe's on the way up there. I wanted Laura to check it out, but we had kind of crammed ourselves into a hole of like not giving ourselves enough time.
Yeah.
We left a little bit later than we originally had planned, but we weren't really in a rush. So I've been there before. I wasn't totally bummed. But Laura, as we were getting closer, I was like, dude, we should probably eat something before we go to the show. And she found a barbecue spot. I'm not going to say the name of it. She found a barbecue spot. And you don't think of like barbecue Kalamazoo, but everything on this menu sounded fucking awesome. So we get there, we order it. Laura gets like this pulled chicken fiesta salad that was like massive. And I got a sorry, pick one, pick 2 type deal. So I got to choose the meat as a sandwich, and I was like, let me get brisket. And they're like, all we have is chopped brisket. And I was like, that's still brisket. Sounds good. And then I got their spicy mac and cheese, which I later found out was mac and cheese with bits of jalapeno and some bacon in it. So our food is pretty quick. Our food gets there, and like I said, Laura had this giant sandwich. The chicken, sorry for clearing my throat again. That looked pretty fucking dried out, man. Kind of a bummer. So that was not cool. It tasted fine. It just kind of dried out. My brisket, I'm putting up quotes here, tasted a lot like pork. It did not taste like it was fine. It was a fine sandwich and everything. The pickles were good too. The mac and cheese was decent. It was mushy though. It was like a mush of mac and cheese. And Laura had a mac and cheese too, and she like took 2 bites. She's like, "This is just like eating mush." And so it was kind of a bummer. Yeah, kind of a bummer, but it didn't ruin it for us. We had a good time at the concert, and then we turned around and came right back home. So
where was the concert?
The Wings Event Center, which is like a not a AAA, it might be a AAA hockey team. It was cool, man. It was a nice little venue. I had a Two Hearted while I was there, and a White Claw.
Did you guys stay the night, or did you come back the same night?
Oh yeah, no, we spent the night. We spent the night there. But we also both woke up at like 6:00 in the morning because the bed was fine, but it was also like not super comfortable. So we got back home in time. And then as I was getting off the expressway, I started having cold sweats and got kind of dizzy. So then I slept for 2 hours when I got home. So that was cool and terrifying at the same time, but I'm okay. Don't know what happened. Yeah. Yeah, and then that was it. So we actually went to a friend's house last night for a barbecue. My buddy Phil, and Phil is very much into German beers. And so when I saw that there was Oktoberfest beers readily available, I grabbed Off Color's Waddle. But I know we've talked about Off Color's Waddle before, so I'm not drinking that. What I am drinking, because Phil is also got very much into hazy IPAs, but particularly from he loves Beezer. But also he discovered Hop Butcher, so he did a whole bunch of hazies. But I got their pale ale, which is called Celery Salt. And let me go ahead and read this description. It's a long description, so I hope everybody's got a chance to just sit back. And here we go. It's a Nelson Sauvin hopped America pale ale. There we go. 6% alcohol. Yeah, they don't give deep descriptions, which I like. It's good. Nelson Sauvin hops.
Part of me was hoping though, like, is there celery salt in that beer?
Absolutely not. Just like their beef dip and the pizza stuff that they do, like they have a lot of food named beers. But it has nothing to do with
it. Speaking of beef dip stuff, while we were on vacation, like Becca and I had our own room, our own TV. We watched a couple more episodes of The Bear, and Becca was like, "I don't." She goes, "Has Tony ever watched this?" I said, I don't know.
Negative. I have not.
You should. You should. Do you have Hulu?
No. It's funny
Do
because
you want
like,
Hulu?
do you want to? It's funny like when I saw it coming out, and I know like a lot of people like it, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's because like I've worked in a restaurant, and I've always been obsessed with like actual chefs and stuff that I'm like, I know it's. I feel like it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's glamorizing the shitty aspect of working in a restaurant, of like what sucks
It's
about
you
working
know
in a
what?
restaurant.
So I will say from somebody myself who has always thought it would be great to work in a restaurant, like and want to run like a food stand or whatever, blah blah blah. It's it's a very good show, and how they tie in Chicago is actually pretty great. So,
Okay, well,
so you're gonna watch
maybe
it? Come on over. I'll watch it with you.
sounds good. I will do that. No, yeah, I'll check it out.
It, it's
Uh,
it's it's actually really good, and like um, it like goes. There's the problem with the show is it gets so intense. It's like heart racing intense. Like you get so involved and like you're like, what the fuck? So we'll turn off an episode and I'll be like, I can't do another. Like this is just fucking intense. Like we gotta wait, and we'll do the next one, and then it's like, oh shit, yeah, we can do one more. Yeah, it's a good show. So,
hmm,
but that being said, this Hot Butcher beer,
yes.
how have you had it before?
Yesterday was the first day I ever had it.
Really?
Yeah, and so what I did is I was stopped in at Binny's, which by the way, now is the time for us to buy Oktoberfest beers. We should probably do that. I grabbed a 4-pack of Waddle and grabbed a 4-pack of this, and I brought 2 of each over and left them by Phil, and then had this. Yeah, so it is. It's a really you'd like this one. It's a really nice pale ale. It's they and so Nelson Sauvin is a New Zealand hop, which a lot of hazy IPAs mainly, or not mainly, but a lot of good hazy IPAs use New Zealand type hops to get those really fruity, like stone fruit, um, juicy type flavors in the beers. And so I looked up Nelson Sauvin here, and it says Nelson Sauvin hops impacted grape light flavored beers, defined as a cool climate white wine grape flavors. Other descriptors include extreme fruitiness, passion fruit, and, in quotes, fresh crushed gooseberries.
Ooh,
Uh, aroma citrus, aroma green fruit, aroma sweet fruit, green fruit, hops, New Zealand. Those are all the tags. It's good. I like it. It's not super hoppy. Let me see if does it have the IBUs here? It does
hi
not, but
Goose.
it's not super hoppy. It's 6%. It's easy drinking. I really, really enjoy it. I don't know if Clark's had this. Clark's all up on the Hop Butcher shit these days. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had it. I think I checked it in. I'm not sure. But yeah, I like it. And from what Hot Butcher does, their hazies they're really solid. Was it last year or the year before when Clark and I were just going absolutely insane, just buying
Yeah,
a fucking Hot Butcher every week. And like when I go to Beer on the Wall, if I see, I'll normally grab one Hot Butcher beer. But I know people who go and like stock up on these 4-packs and just drink the shit out of them, and I
yeah.
can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, kudos to them. That's great. I'm glad they found a style that they really like and they keep drinking. That's not for me anymore, baby. But overall, I really enjoy this beer.
Nice.
I would say, I'm trying to think of what I can rate this with.
How many celery salts would you give this beer? Or
I
how
would give
many salts of celery would you
ah,
give this beer?
I like that. How many grains of salt of celery? I would give this 4.15.
Oh, nice.
4.15. Pretty high up there because I love a good pale ale, and this is refreshing and it's hitting everything there. It definitely leans more on the fruitier side of a pale ale, not so much the bitterness of a pale ale. So it's
Nice.
tasty. It's enjoyable. It's a good summer beer. And we are knee deep in August now, buddy. We are getting close to our favorite time of year, which is pumpkin beer.
Yeah, it was funny. We were like on vacation. Somebody was asking
By the way, I'm
Becca.
glad I made myself laugh so hard with that
Yeah,
joke. I am
me too. Me
funny.
too. My somebody asked Becca about homebrewing and like my homebrewing. I think probably my dad or whatever. And she's like, "Oh, has Brandon brewed anything recently?" And I was like, and I said, I was there. I said, I haven't brewed since January. I said, I want to brew
Same
again.
here.
I said, I've been planning to, but I haven't. And then I think it was my dad. He goes, "Did you make anything good?" And Becca goes, "I
Thanks,
really
Dad.
like his Oktoberfest." And I turned to her. I said, "Do you?" She goes, "Yeah, that was like your like that beer was like my favorite beer that you ever did." I said, "All right, we're doing it again." So
Hell yeah.
I think in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna try to do that and find some place to keep it cold, and see what happens.
Sounds good, man. That is your Oktoberfest is fucking fantastic. It's is a tasty beer. I am. I actually was talking to Mike, brother-in-law Mike, last night about possibly if you guys were interested. And I might throw this out there to another home brewer for when it comes time for our Halloween party here at the old Warwick Estate. That I thought maybe of getting the kegerator over here fully operational, clean, got it. Let's me get it. Let me get back into this. And if you're interested of brewing like we did the one year, maybe you brew a beer, I brew a beer, see if Mike wants a beer. I don't know if Clark's coming, but I'll see if Clark wants to brew a beer. The thing is that you guys can take these beers or I can drop them off the next day, but have, a bunch of home brews on tap for Halloween.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
I don't know what I want to make, but I just thought it'd be nice to have a mix of beers and to get us back into some home brewing.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I miss it. I miss it. And really, what's holding me back right now is that I have just not been. I mean, having those shitty beers, the last couple ones that I brewed, I really believe is because my setup is not clean and gross. Definitely not clean and definitely gross now because I have not done anything with it. Since January or February, man. Last time I brewed a beer, so I'm ready to gut all my lines, get everything clean, get the taps clean, get everything running, and then brew a test beer and see what's up, and get back into the swing of it.
Yeah, nice man. Yeah, I know. The only thing about homebrewing, I think I'm at the point where I need to get new buckets. So I think
Oh,
I'm gonna get all new buckets
maybe I should do that too. Maybe I should get new
because
buckets.
I haven't gotten new buckets in a while. So I'm like, all
Same
right,
here. Maybe I just need a whole refresh of all my equipment here.
yeah. And buckets are not that expensive. Gnome Brew has
No,
them pretty cheap, so I'm gonna
yeah,
grab some from
buckets
them.
are. That's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's do that together. Well, let's go get some buckets together. Speaking of doing stuff together, you and I are
Buckets,
going
yeah.
to. We're also going to a concert this weekend together. Or this week. This week we're going. This
Jimmy
Wednesday.
Eat World.
The Manchester Orchestra. Are you more excited about Jimmy Eat World or Manchester Orchestra?
I think I know them both equally, but
Huh.
like Jimmy Eat World, I know more of their songs. So
Yeah,
like,
I'd say you probably know more Jimmy Eat World, and I know more Manchester Orchestra. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a nice little combo for us. That should be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it. Also, I was informed of a uh, upper general admission area that's like a bar lounge area where you can just go and sit. Um,
okay,
so I think we might. I'm gonna get the directions on that, and maybe we get there early enough. Maybe we'll go hang out there instead of being down on the floor because we're old men now.
just let me
Or if
know.
we're just on the floor, I don't fucking care. So yeah, that'll be fun, man. Looking forward to that.
Me
All
too.
right, yeah. I don't got anything else, man. I think that's it. I think we're caught up on life. We're caught up on random trips. Oktoberfest is around the corner. I can't believe August is almost done. Yeah, man, this is crazy, but it's a good time for beer. I'm looking forward to the Oktoberfest beers, fest beers. Then we start getting into those
Pumpkin beers.
pumpkin beers, man. I already saw a bunch of pumpkin beers out
when
already.
when I was in a Publix in where the fuck was I? Like North Carolina or South Carolina, whatever. I was in a Publix and they had like pumpkin and everything like lined up, and I was like, "Ooh, I gotta steer away from that."
Yeah, cousin Kevin already told me he got a 4-pack of Warlock already. I'm like, well, at least you went with the stout,
Oh,
so
they
I
had
can.
Warlock too. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I mean, I do love Warlock, so maybe it's the time now where I start buying a couple random things and just keep them in the refrigerator ready for another year of pumpkin beer and another maybe 2-part Oktoberfest episode again
Yep.
because there's just so many good Oktoberfest beers. It's one of my favorites, man. One of my favorite styles. All right, I think that's gonna do it for this week's Malted Minis. Brandon, I love you, buddy.
Love you too, bud.
Aggie, it's good to see you again. That was not Aggie. He was just shaking her in front of the mic. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.